In the world of K-pop, everything looks perfect under the spotlight, flashing lights, screaming fans, and picture-perfect performances. But behind the stage, beyond the confetti, and far from the choreographed smiles, lies a web of untold dynamics, relationships, favoritism, and quiet gestures that only insiders dare to whisper about. And at the heart of one of the world's biggest music empires, Big Hit Entertainment is a man who has shaped global culture with 7 voices: a genius, a mastermind, a protector, a father figure. Bang Si-hyuk, lovingly and sometimes teasingly called Bang PD Nim by millions, isn't just the founder of HYBE or the architect of BTS's global takeover. He's the one person who has seen every laugh, every tear, and every backstage meltdown of the BTS members since their rookie days. But here's the question we're asking today. Among all the members of BTS, who does Bang Si-hyuk truly cherish the most? Who gets that extra layer of comfort, that secret check-in text at 3 a.m., that silent nod of approval in a sea of executives? Who's the one he subtly shields from the harshest winds of fame, and who's the one he just can't help but treat like his own kid? Of course, we're not talking obvious favoritism or contract bias here. This isn't about money, screen time, or solo debuts. No, this is deeper, more emotional. We're diving into the real moments, the real connections, the kind that happen behind the camera when no one's watching. Moments captured in the way Bang PD claps during a live broadcast, how he hugs certain members just a little longer, or even how he reacts when rumors start to fly. This is about warmth, attention, silent support, and above all, love. So buckle up, armies, because today, we're not counting streams or chart positions, we're counting affections. We're peeling back the velvet curtain and stepping into the private circle of trust between Bang Si-hyuk and the boys he helped turn into legends. From subtle signals at award shows to unspoken alliances during company crises, from public praise to quiet protection, this is the list that might just change the way you see the man behind BTS forever. Think you already know who's number 1? Are you sure? What if it's not the one who cries the most? Not the one with the most solo hits? What if it's the one who's always been there quietly, walking a fine line between independence and vulnerability? Could it be the golden maknae who rules the stage but still looks for approval in Bang PD's eyes? Or maybe the worldwide handsome Hyung who once considered quitting only to be talked out of it by a midnight conversation that none of us ever saw? Could it be the sensitive soul whose pain Bang PD once publicly defended with tears in his eyes? Or the quietly brilliant leader who carried the weight of the group, knowing someone powerful was always watching his back? We're about to find out. This is not just a ranking. This is a journey through emotions, history, and the evolution of one of the most intimate relationships in K-pop history. So grab your tissues, brace your heart, and whatever you do, don't scroll away. Because from number 7 all the way up to number 1, you're going to feel everything. The joy, the protection, the favoritism, and the undeniable warmth of Bang Si-hyuk's bond with BTS. Ready to find out who's been secretly pampered all along? Let's begin. Number 7. Suga, the untouchable genius. If there's one member of BTS who walks through the chaos with the calm of a monk and the precision of a chess master, it's Min Yoongi, better known to the world as Suga. But behind that icy exterior, that almost mythic aura of detachment and mystery, lies a man who Bang Si-hyuk has quietly revered from day one. Make no mistake, Suga isn't the loudest, the flashiest, or even the most commercially visible in the group. But his place in Bang PD's heart is carved out in a completely different way through respect. Back in the early days, when Big Hit was still a struggling agency and BTS lived on cup noodles and broken bunk beds, Suga wasn't just a trainee. He was a producer, a writer, and a visionary. He brought beats, lyrics, and sound design that many didn't understand at first, but Bang PD did. Bang Si-hyuk has often said publicly that Yoongi reminded him of himself, someone more comfortable behind the scenes than under the lights, someone who would rather speak through music than interviews. That's not favoritism, that's professional admiration. But admiration turned into protection when the industry started noticing just how influential Suga really was. While other companies scrambled to buy out songwriters or hide ghost producers, Bang PD made sure Suga got full credit, royalties, and freedom. He was the only BTS member allowed to drop a raw mixtape under a separate stage name, August D, with nearly zero restrictions. He even took bold risks, rapping about mental health, trauma, and dark self-reflection, topics many companies would have censored instantly. Yet Bang PD didn't just approve it, he promoted it. That's not just trust. That's a green light from someone who believes deeply in your message. And then there's the tour stories. While other members often needed to be on for the cameras, Suga was given space. Space to rest, space to write, space to breathe. There are whispers inside the company that Bang PD personally intervened when Suga's old shoulder injury flared up again. While everyone expected the show to go on, Bang Si-hyuk allegedly made the call, "Yoongi rests. No questions, no meetings, no debates. Just one protective gesture from a CEO to his genius." During comeback seasons, fans noticed how Bang PD always highlighted Suga's work during press releases, not as a member, but as a composer, a creative lead, a strategic thinker. When BTS worked on BE, the pandemic-era album that was raw and vulnerable, Bang PD handed the creative reins to the group, but Yoongi took the role of orchestration. Not officially, not with a title. But everyone knew he was the skeleton behind the record. And Bang PD made sure everyone knew that too. It's not about hugs or tears with Suga. It's not about showing up in vlogs or crying during speeches. No. The way Bang PD pampers Yoongi is with quiet respect, unwavering freedom, and a level of professional faith he's rarely given to anyone else. And when Yoongi enlisted for military service, Bang Si-hyuk posted a message that was shorter than most but full of weight. Just 3 sentences. But if you know how Bang PD writes, that message was layered with emotion. The kind of emotion that's not loud. The kind that respects space. The kind that says, "I'm watching over you, even when I say nothing." That's how Bang Si-hyuk loves Suga. With silence, with reverence, with freedom. Number 6. J-Hope, the brightest light he protects quietly. You know that one person in every friend group who's always smiling, always cheering people up, always holding the energy high even when everything's falling apart behind the scenes? In BTS, that person is Young Ho-seok J-Hope. But what many don't realize is that the more someone shines, the more they need to be protected. And Bang Si-hyuk? He understood that from day one. Because behind every sunshine persona is a soul carrying the weight of keeping everyone else okay, and Bang PD saw that in Hobie before the rest of the world did. Let's rewind to debut era. BTS was rough around the edges, still finding its footing, and the pressure was astronomical. While some members struggled with finding confidence or expressing emotions, J-Hope played the glue. He wasn't just dancing. He was uplifting, monitoring, and making sure no one's spirit cracked under the weight of failure. But what happens to the glue when it starts to dry up? That's the part that Bang Si-hyuk noticed. When fans were cheering for charisma and visuals, Bang PD was watching something else: the way Hobie checked in on members after a performance, the way he took the blame during rehearsal arguments, the way he cried in silence when no one was watching. J-Hope, from day one, has been the unspoken pillar of emotional stability within BTS, and Bang PD treated him like such. Not with loud applause or frequent public praise, but with something far more powerful: emotional safeguarding. Behind the scenes, reports say that Bang PD would often step in whenever Hobie started feeling overwhelmed, not because he doubted him, but because he knew exactly how important he was to the group's chemistry. During early album discussions, when others were finding their voices in songwriting or production, J-Hope was sometimes quiet, but Bang PD always made sure his input was heard, not forced, not pushed, but invited. That's a CEO who knows that not every genius is loud and not every backbone asks to be acknowledged. And when it came to solo projects, let's talk about Jack in the Box. J-Hope's debut solo album was radically different from his public image: dark, experimental, fiercely artistic. It was a complete departure from the sunshine everyone expected. Most execs would have tried to tone it down, shape it for mass appeal, or delay it to avoid shocking fans. But Bang Si-hyuk did the exact opposite. He championed it. He let Hobi dive deep into the persona that the public had never seen. And when the critics started questioning the drastic transformation, Bang PD stood back and let the art speak for itself. That's trust. That's silent encouragement. That's pampering a person's inner truth, not just their public persona. There's also something deeply intimate about the way Bang PD supports J-Hope emotionally. Fans who closely analyze their interactions have noticed that Bang Si-hyuk often uses shoulder pats and low-voiced affirmations with Hobi. Not grand gestures, but reassurance, physical cues that say, "You did good," without putting more pressure on him. During military enlistment, it wasn't just a post, it was a presence. Company insiders say Bang PD made sure everything from press to accommodation was handled smoothly and quietly for J-Hope, with zero media chaos. Because sometimes pampering means letting someone leave with dignity and peace. And let's not forget Hobi's comeback moments. Whether it's Lollapalooza or dance rehearsals shared on YouTube, there's always an underlying whisper of support from Bang PD. You won't always see it in headlines. But look at the team, look at the budget. Look at the space J-Hope is given to fly. That doesn't happen unless someone powerful is behind you, opening doors you didn't even ask to walk through. In a world where J-Hope gives energy to everyone, Bang Si-hyuk made sure someone gave energy back to him. Not through noise, but through grace, freedom, and a kind of silent affection that only someone like Hobi would fully understand. So the next time you see him dancing his heart out, remember, somewhere behind the scenes, Bang PD is watching with that small, proud smile, knowing that the brightest light in the room is also the one he quietly guards the most. And now, we climb higher. Who could possibly be next? Number 5. Jimin, the one he can't bear to see hurt. If Bang Si-hyuk has a soft spot, it's named Park Jimin. From the moment Jimin stepped into the BTS world, something about him pulled people in the raw emotion in his voice, the graceful intensity of his dancing, the way he smiles even when his heart is breaking. To the world, he's ethereal, elegant, almost angelic. But to Bang Si-hyuk, Jimin is something else entirely, fragile gold, something beautiful, irreplaceable, and in constant need of protection from the world's sharpest edges. You could see it from the early days. Back when BTS was still figuring out its identity, Jimin was already breaking himself to fit into perfection. He would train longer, rehearse harder, cry more privately, and doubt himself the most, and Bang PD saw it. He saw the way Jimin would obsess over his performance flaws, the way he'd apologize, even when he was the one holding everything together. For many CEOs, this would be just another trainee with an inferiority complex. But for Bang Si-hyuk, this was a heart he refused to let break. Sources say Bang PD personally comforted Jimin after he was nearly cut from the debut lineup. Yes, he almost didn't debut. But Bang PD didn't just keep him in the group, he nurtured him. He praised his work ethic, boosted his confidence, and made sure that even when Jimin doubted himself, the company didn't. He once described Jimin as having a flame that burns quietly but deeply. That's not just poetic, it's protective. It's the kind of statement a father would say about a son who's too hard on himself. And then came the stage injuries, the emotional breakdowns, the pressure of holding the face of the group responsibility alongside being the emotional epicenter. Bang Si-hyuk was often the first to notice when Jimin needed space, even before Jimin asked. During comeback seasons, while others got strategy briefings, insiders say Bang PD would often pull Jimin aside not for notes, but for check-ins. He didn't want performance updates. He wanted to know, how's your heart today? There's also a very specific way Bang PD supports Jimin, by amplifying his art in the exact way Jimin needs it. When Promise dropped Jimin's first self-written solo, the industry didn't expect it to become a digital phenomenon, but Bang PD believed. He let Jimin compose it, write it, own it. No ghostwriters, no shaping by the A&R team, and the result? One of the most streamed Korean solo tracks in history. That wasn't just Jimin's win, it was a message from Bang PD to the world. Let him create. He knows his voice. When accusations or controversies hit Jimin, from unfair weight criticisms to bizarre online rumors, Bang Si-hyuk's defense was always swift, sometimes silent, but always deadly effective. Lawyers would be deployed. Statements would be carefully crafted. But the intent was always clear. You don't get to touch him. It's one thing to protect a public image. It's another to protect a soul. And that's what Bang PD has been doing for Jimin all along. Even fans notice the way Bang PD looks at Jimin during award shows, prideful, but concerned, like a parent watching their child finally bloom, but worrying about the storm outside. During festa dinners, he often leans toward Jimin when he speaks, not interrupting, just listening more intently than he does with others, because Jimin doesn't speak often. But when he does, Bang PD makes sure the room hears him. And when Jimin cried on stage during The Truth Untold, or stood shaking after a performance that didn't meet his impossible standards, who do you think was waiting backstage with a word, a hand, or just a reassuring presence? Bang Si-hyuk doesn't pamper Jimin with luxury, he pampers him with empathy. He lets him feel safe enough to fall, knowing someone will always catch him. And as BTS continues evolving, you can bet Bang PD is still watching closely, protecting the boy who once almost disappeared under his own pressure, and who now shines like a star so bright, it could only have been nurtured, not built. Number 4. RM. The leader Bang PD secretly shields from the world. When people talk about RM Kim Namjoon, they often highlight his IQ, his fluency in English, his poetic lyrics, or his calm leadership. But what they rarely talk about is how Bang Si-hyuk has always seen Namjoon as more than just BTS's brain. He's seen him as a boy carrying the weight of a nation, and sometimes, even more than that, a boy carrying the pressure of Bang PD's own dream. You see, RM wasn't just another trainee, he was the first, the anchor, the blueprint, the very reason Bang Si-hyuk started building BTS in the first place. Bang PD discovered Namjoon when he was still a teenager, spitting fire underground, surrounded by rappers who didn't care about choreography or fan signs. But Bang Si-hyuk saw something different. Not just skill, but leadership. And from that moment on, Namjoon became the centerpiece of a gamble that would either redefine K-pop or destroy their careers completely. And that gamble, it paid off, but at a cost. Namjoon had to grow up in front of cameras, in interviews, in press conferences, in controversies. While others had time to breathe, RM had to answer. When scandals hit, he took the mic. When the team was confused, he made the decision. And when they cried backstage, he dried his own tears first before comforting others. And Bang PD? He saw all of it. Every silent sacrifice, every private breakdown, every moment of lonely strength. That's why Bang Si-hyuk's pampering of RM is different. It's not with hugs or extra screen time. It's strategic. It's protective silence. It's backroom shielding. There are countless stories that fans will never hear. Stories of company meetings where Bang PD stepped in, shut down rumors, stopped exploitative deals, shielded Namjoon from interviews that would push him too far. Because Namjoon never says no. So Bang PD had to say it for him. When the pressure of being BTS's spokesperson became too much and Namjoon started publicly doubting his role, am I doing enough? Do I even deserve this? Bang Si-hyuk didn't respond with press statements. He gave him space. He let him take sabbaticals, go on art retreats, explore galleries in Europe, reclaim his identity. That's a form of love not many CEOs understand, letting someone leave so they can return whole. Behind every RM solo project is Bang PD's quiet blessing. From Mono to Indigo, Namjoon explored dark, deep, intellectual corners of his mind, not built for mainstream K-pop consumption, but deeply personal. And Bang PD? He backed it all. Gave it studio time, marketing, full autonomy, no rewrites, no filters. He never tried to make RM more palatable for the public because he believed the public would rise to meet Namjoon's truth. And when RM faced online criticism from the UN's speech to misinterpreted quotes, Bang PD's legal team was dispatched faster than anyone expected. You think those defenses were automatic? No. they were personal orders. Because you don't let the pillar of your empire stand exposed. But perhaps the most tender example of how Bang PD pampers Namjoon is how he lets him rest emotionally. While other members might get more public praise or fun appearances, RM is allowed to retreat. To disappear when he needs to go silent on Weavers without fear of being told to perform. Bang PD doesn't demand extroversion from someone who already gives everything silently. And during enlistment, Bang PD's farewell to Namjoon was short, respectful, and loaded with emotion. The tone was almost like writing to an old war comrade. No emoji, no corporate flair, just a farewell from one tired general to another. You could argue that RM is the most trusted member in Bang PD's eyes. But trust is heavy. And Bang Si-hyuk's way of pampering RM has always been this: you lead the world, I'll lead you. Up next, things are getting intense. The top 3 members are those Bang Si-hyuk guards like national treasures. Number 3, Jungkook, the golden maknae he guards like a national treasure. If there's one BTS member who lives under the world's brightest spotlight, it's Jungkook. The youngest, the prodigy, the all-rounder, the golden maknae Jungkook is, by every metric, a global phenomenon. But what most people fail to see behind that polished perfection is something very simple. He's still the youngest. And for Bang Si-hyuk, that has always meant one thing: Jungkook must be protected at all costs. From the very beginning, Bang PD saw something in Jungkook that wasn't just talent, it was vulnerability wrapped in brilliance. At just 13, Jungkook was already being scouted by every major agency in Korea, from JYP to Cube. But it wasn't the flashy promises or star power that won him over. It was a quiet conversation with Bang Si-hyuk, who promised him freedom. Not to become what the company wanted, but to become whoever he wanted. And Jungkook took that leap of faith, not because Big Hit was the biggest name, but because Bang PD saw him. As a person, as a dreamer, as a boy far from home who needed more than training, he needed trust. That trust became the foundation of one of the most delicate yet powerful relationships in K-pop. Jungkook has always been the most praised and simultaneously the most pressured member. And Bang PD understood that pressure. He knew the dangers of spotlighting a teenager before he even finished high school. So while Jungkook dazzled the world with vocals, dance, visuals, boxing, directing, and editing, Bang Si-hyuk stayed behind the curtain, watching, guarding, and intervening quietly when the world threatened to consume him. Let's talk solo activities. Long before BTS went on temporary hiatus for military service, Jungkook's popularity had already exploded. Global fans, brand deals, live streams that broke records. Every movement of his went viral. And Bang PD? He never exploited it. Unlike some companies that squeeze every ounce of revenue out of their star players, Bang Si-hyuk was measured. Jungkook's solo album, Golden, wasn't rushed. It wasn't overproduced. It was carefully timed, with Bang PD ensuring he had creative input, comfort, and most importantly, emotional readiness. When haters online attacked Jungkook over trivial things from his tattoos to his clothing, from being too visible to not being visible enough, Bang Si-hyuk didn't just let it slide. The company's legal team responded with fire. Multiple lawsuits, legal statements, social media defenses, all because Bang PD had drawn a line. You do not touch Jungkook. Not physically, not emotionally, not digitally. And then there's the matter of mental health. Jungkook has always been open about feeling lost, confused, and insecure, despite being worshipped like a living god. In one Weverse Live, he once confessed to crying quietly after shows, wondering if he was doing enough. That kind of confession is rare, vulnerable, dangerous in an industry that wants its idols bulletproof. But Bang Si-hyuk didn't silence him. He didn't say, "Be careful what you share." He let him speak. Because Bang PD knows sometimes the most powerful way to pamper someone is to let them be fragile without consequence. Fans have also noticed the way Bang PD never micromanages Jungkook. In meetings, he lets him listen more than speak. He gives him space to learn by doing, by failing, by exploring. Whether it's Jungkook directing his own footage for GCF, experimenting with hairstyles, or trying unorthodox concepts on stage, Bang PD doesn't just allow it, he backs it. Financially, emotionally, and structurally. There's even a subtle way Bang PD shows his affection. He never pressures Jungkook to act older than he is. Even as the youngest, Jungkook is often expected to keep up with his older brothers, to be as composed, as mature, as diplomatic. But Bang PD lets him be playful, messy, even rebellious sometimes, because that's what the youngest deserves: room to grow, stumble, and figure out the world on his own terms. And let's not forget, when Jungkook enlisted in 2023, it sent shockwaves through the fandom. He had delayed, not because he wanted to skip it, but because the group's dynamics needed balancing. But when the moment finally came, Bang PD escorted him like royalty. Behind the scenes, staff said the arrangements for Jungkook's enlistment were the most delicate and discreet in BTS history. Everything from media silence to private transport was Bang PD's way of carrying the nation's treasure with his own two hands. If you ever wondered whether Bang Si-hyuk has a golden child, it's Jungkook. But not because he's the most profitable or the most famous. It's because he's the most precious to protect. And now we enter the top 2. Who could possibly rank above this? Number 2, V, the enigmatic soul he just can't say no to. When you think of Kim Tae-young, better known as V, you probably picture a walking piece of art, mesmerizing visuals, a voice like velvet dipped in honey, and an aura so unpredictable that even his silence becomes a headline. But beyond the mystery, beyond the Gucci suits, gallery visits, and jazz playlists, there's a side of V that only a few have truly seen. And Bang Si-hyuk? He's one of those few. From the beginning, V was an anomaly. He wasn't even officially introduced with the other members at first, remember that? He was a secret weapon, kept hidden by Big Hit until the last moment. And while fans were confused, some even angry back then, what they didn't know was this. Bang PD wasn't hiding him out of strategy, he was protecting him, because Taeyoung was special, raw, unfiltered, wildly emotional. And unlike anyone else in the trainee lineup, it wasn't long before Bang Si-hyuk realized that V wasn't the type of artist you mold, he's the kind you set free. But freedom in K-pop? That's a risky game. Yet Bang PD played it for him. V has always walked to the beat of his own drum. Whether it's showing up at fashion shows without warning, dropping midnight selfies with cryptic captions, or releasing solo tracks like Scenery and Winter Bear with zero promotion, he does what feels right to him. And Bang Si-hyuk? He lets him. Not out of favoritism, but because he knows that the more you try to control someone like V, the more you extinguish what makes him magical. So, instead, Bang PD does something very few CEOs in this industry dare to do. He steps back. But stepping back doesn't mean he doesn't care. Oh, he cares deeply. Insiders have described how Bang PD is more sensitive to Taeyoung's emotional state than almost any other member. Why? Because V feels everything intensely, but says very little. He won't cry on camera unless he's shattered. He won't vent unless he's at a breaking point. So Bang PD doesn't wait for signs, he watches for shadows. A quiet Taeyoung in rehearsal. A missed eye contact during meetings. A drop in Weverse activity. Those aren't small things, they're red flags, and Bang Si-hyuk sees them all. There's a reason why V's solo career was handled with kid gloves and white gloves at the same time. His album Layover wasn't just a musical release. It was a personal diary wrapped in vinyl. The music, the visuals, the pacing, it was nothing like the other members. And that's exactly what Bang PD wanted. He brought in Min Hee-jin, the artistic mind behind New Jeans, to sculpt an aesthetic that fit only Taeyoung. No recycled formulas, no trendy beats. Just pure, distilled V. That kind of personalized production doesn't happen unless someone at the top says, "Give him the best, and don't rush him." And when scandals tried to touch him, when fake dating rumors exploded online, or when paparazzi snapped private moments, Bang PD's silence was strategic. He didn't feed the flames, he blanketed them. Legal threats. Takedown notices. Digital sweeps. The message was always the same: you don't get to invade his soul. Taehyung's acting career, greenlit by Bang PD. His jazz obsession, backed with a production team. His photography passion, supported with exhibitions. His social awkwardness in interviews, respected, never mocked. And even when V clashed with the rigid schedules of idol life, Bang PD never forced him into a box. Because he understood this truth: Taehyung isn't meant to be managed, he's meant to be inspired. It's not uncommon for V to skip company events or for him to vanish from the public eye for a while. But notice this: he always comes back. And every time he does, Bang PD has his back ready. Whether it's a Vogue cover, a Chanel rumor, or a jazz stage in Paris, there's always a green light, a silent nod from Bang Si-hyuk that says, "Go be you, I'll handle the rest." And maybe that's the most powerful form of pampering of all. Not showers of praise, not constant oversight, but radical, unconditional, artistic trust. So if you're wondering why V gets so much room to roam, it's not because he's reckless. It's because Bang PD knows you don't cage the soul of someone who sees the world differently. You guard it, quietly, fiercely, always. Now, there's only one name left on this list. Who could possibly rank above V in Bang Si-hyuk's eyes? You probably already know. Number 1, Jin, the eldest son he could never let fall. You've made it. The top of the list. And if you've followed BTS long enough, really followed them, not just through the glamour and the memes, but through the quiet moments, the heartbreaking confessions, maybe the silent sacrifices, you already know that Seokjin, Jin, isn't just the eldest member of BTS. To Bang Si-hyuk, he is family. Not metaphorically, not as an idol, not even as a company pillar, but as a son. Yes, Jin, the one who jokes endlessly, who shields others with laughter, who downplays his pain so no one else has to feel it, is the very member Bang Si-hyuk has pampered, protected, and emotionally invested in the most. Let's go back to the beginning. When Jin joined Big Hit, he wasn't the obvious choice. He wasn't a dancer. He wasn't a seasoned trainee. He was a film major, handpicked by a casting team who spotted his visuals at a bus stop. But what Bang PD saw in him was never just about looks. It was about loyalty, emotional intelligence, and raw heart. Jin wasn't someone you trained to fit a mold. He was someone who shaped the mold by being consistently human in an industry built on artifice. Behind the scenes, Bang PD quickly discovered that Jin was the one who kept everyone emotionally afloat. When tempers flared, Jin calmed the storm. When others broke down, Jin held the room together. When BTS was nearly dismantled during their darkest hours, it was Jin who stepped up, not with anger, but with responsibility. And Bang Si-hyuk never forgot that. He never forgot the countless times Jin sacrificed his personal comfort for the sake of group unity. Never forgot the pressure he bore as the eldest, expected to guide 6 wildly different personalities, even when he himself was quietly breaking. Never forgot how Jin never once asked for solo privileges, even though he easily could have demanded them. So Bang PD pampered him in his own way. Not loudly, but with decisive tenderness. Jin is the member who was allowed the most freedom from expectations. While others were being pushed as producers, dancers, or writers, Bang PD allowed Jin to discover his own pace. When he wanted to focus on acting, Bang PD supported it. When he chose to remain in the group instead, Bang PD didn't force a career shift. He honored that decision. Because Bang Si-hyuk always knew Jin wasn't someone to be used, he was someone to be cared for. And when Jin began to blossom vocally from epiphany to abyss, Bang PD made sure those moments weren't just released, they were respected. His ballads were given full orchestration. His stage moments were isolated and celebrated. Even when critics downplayed his technicality, Bang PD doubled down, calling him the emotional core of BTS's sound. That's not a casual compliment. That's a personal stamp of validation. But the real tell? The way Bang PD handled Jin's military enlistment. This wasn't just any goodbye. This was the first member to go. The one that would set the tone for all the others. And the one Bang Si-hyuk couldn't let go of without doing something special. Bang PD walked him to the gates himself. Do you understand how rare that is? No press team, no assistants, no distant statement from a boardroom. Bang Si-hyuk was there in person, looking at Jin not like a CEO sending off talent, but like a father watching his son leave for something he can't protect him from. And when Jin came back in 2024, something had changed. Bang PD didn't just welcome him, he embraced him publicly. He made Jin the face of reconciliation, the first one to light the torch of the BTS reunion arc. Events were planned around him. Media shaped their headlines to follow his moves. And Bang PD gave Jin full agency to choose his projects, his pace, his message. Why? Because Jin earned it more quietly than anyone else ever could. And here's something the fans feel deeply, even if they can't always explain it. Bang Si-hyuk smiles differently around Jin. It's softer, fuller, not just proud, but relieved, like someone who's watching a boy he raised finally stand tall on his own after carrying everyone else for so long. So when you ask who Bang Si-hyuk pampers the most, it's not about favoritism. It's not about money, brand deals, or lines in a song. It's about trust, history, and emotional gravity. And Jin? Jin has carried them all, including Bang PD himself. That's why he's number one. Because some hearts aren't just treasured. They're protected like home.